Fall Turf Festival at Gulfstream Park West. Ron Nicoletti along with Katie Stazak. Katie, before we get started, want to wish everyone a happy Veterans Day out there. They make the ultimate sacrifice. We got some booth here we'll be telling you about later on. You can go and visit some of these veterans from all the different wars we've had here today to celebrate Veterans Day.
Whether you're serving now or you have served in the past, you give the ultimate sacrifice to give us freedom in this country. We appreciate you so much each and every day, not just today, but especially today.
Well, they hit the Rainbow Six. I was hoping it was a veteran on Sunday. They hit it. One ticket, $75,000 plus, and it was by a takedown and a put up. The horse was taken down. Another horse was put up. $75,000 one ticket. So we're starting anew today with the Rainbow Six, and it's a 10-race card. So races 5 through 10 on our holiday card, Veteran Day holiday card. So should be an exciting day of racing. We've got a fast-made track. We have a firm turf course. And before we delve into the Wednesday card, let's see what's tweeting out there in Twitterland. And the first one we want to talk about is, looks like I want to see this baby when it gets to be 2-year-olds and run. And we're talking about Take Charge Brandy being bred to curling.
Yeah, Take Charge Brandy was just purchased by John Sikora at the Keeneland November breeding sale for, just $6 million. And she is going to be bred to curling next year. And like Ron said, we will be looking forward to seeing the product of that pairing down the road.
Definitely. And the Mongolians have invaded Gulfstream Park. A very interesting one. I'm going to go over and watch this horse work one day.
Yeah, here's Mongolian Saturday, winner of the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. He is now here at Gulfstream across town in South Florida. Going to be training here for his 2016 campaign. Very excited to have a Breeders' Cup winner on campus per se, and this is going to be a lot of fun.
And the Breeders' Cup distaff winner, who was very impressive, winning it, stopped Charging Maria. Boy, that was some horse. That was some race.
It was some race for sure, and this is it. Capital letters worthy. Great news. Stop Charging Maria is going to come back and race in 2016. That is fantastic. She's going to come back to Todd mid-January. That means she'll be here as well in South Florida, and we'll be looking forward to seeing her make her comeback and have her next season. What a phenomenal race mare.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll get to see these horses, working, training, and running at Gulfstream Park, the championship meet, which starts on December 5th, just a few weeks away, right after Thanksgiving. We start getting ready for the championship meet. Of course, we'll be here till November 28th, and let's look at our first race this afternoon. This is 5 furlongs on the turf. Claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life, $16,000. We do have one scratch in here, and that becomes the number one is scratched in here. The Boring Quinier is scratched out of the race. And we're going to go back and show you performance back on Halloween, October 31st of Go Romeo.
I think this is a horse that should be somewhere in your ticket. I did not put him on top in this race, but I thought that he had a little bit of a trouble in his last start, and he's actually dropping down today. This is in an allowance. This horse absolutely has nowhere to go, gets boxed in between horses. The jockey can't even ride him there at the end. He just, he comes on well late, but he doesn't really have anywhere to make a move. No seam opens up for him. That was in a starter allowance. Now going to drop to this $16,000 level, and with a cleaner trip, the way he closes suits this turf course so well, and I think he can jump up and get a piece of this.
Yeah, I had him use him on the ticket for all the reasons that you mentioned. You saw it right there. Just had nowhere to run coming through the stretch. But we both did put Remembering Richie on top of our ticket. Is returning to his best distance thus far. He's had 4 races at this distance with a win in 2 seconds and against non-winners of 2 lifetime competition today. After chasing the pace and fading in that race to finish last, it was against $12,500 state-bred optional claimers, going 7 furlongs on the dirt. Dave Brady, leading jockey, Edgar Zayas, handling the surface switch. I think this is this horse's game.
Absolutely. So much better on the turf, so much better at this distance. 2 back, he faced $30,000 claimers at this 5/8 turf sprinting distance, and he was second, only beaten a neck. Dropping today, getting back on his preferred surface. He is the horse to beat.
Yeah, and number 8, Tuna Tabau, is getting some class relief today after shipping in from Saratoga and getting beat a length here by allowance competition back on overnight, and then finishing a chase and fade 4th against optional allowance claiming company foes last time out. So this horse keeping some pretty nice company.
He has been. I was not in love with the performance last time, and that's why he's dropping to this level. But two back, I thought he ran an excellent race in that straight allowance. He is going to need to break well from that outside post to get a good position, but he's not too far out, and I think this is an excellent spot in terms of competition level for him.
You know, we've been mentioning over the last couple of weeks about how the turf course has been playing. We're starting anew. We've had a couple of days off. Now it's your job to watch, see how these turf races are playing, see if it's tilted towards the speed or over the way it's been stalking and closes almost exclusively. Of course, we've had some horses that are either classed up or got an easy lead and were able to win. So always something you want to pay attention to, and it's good that the first race is on the turf. Let's go to race number 2, 6 furlongs, claimers, fillies, and mares, 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life. The claiming level is $30,000 down to $25,000. 6 runners in this field, and it looks like you got to sort of have the number 6, Lasting Friendships, on top of your ticket.
Talk about being placed in the right spot. This horse has been running very well in allowance and state-bred allowance company. Going to return to the claiming ranks for the first time in 7 starts since July. Track the pace between horses, engage the leader at the top of the stretch. Just weakened a little bit late, finished second by a length. That was in a state-bred allowance on October 24th. She's been running and faring well against tougher competition. She unquestionably goes to the top in this race.
Yeah, I mean, the horse she finished second to is Mom's Laugh. Mom's Laugh would be 1 to 9 in this spot. So off that company line, certainly Lasting Friendships looks like the one to beat. Number 2, Arella Princess, who I have in second, Katie, is another dropping into the condition claiming ranks today after returning from a 5-month layoff. Stalked the pace that they finished 5th, beaten 5 lengths, but that was against $16,000 optional claimers going 6.5 furlongs. I thought on the drop and the turn back, this horse belongs somewhere in the ticket, and I see that you used it, but you had the number 3 horse in second in that series song.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to do with Arella Princess. With the class drop, she absolutely should be somewhere, but I just haven't been enamored with her races as of late. They just haven't been that great, even though they've been with tougher. That's why I gave a little bit more of an edge to the 3 series song. She broke her maiden here on October 15th against $20,000 maiden claimers. Now going to step up to face winners for the first time, but she clearly showed an affinity for this surface, hasn't finished worse than second at the distance, and making her 3rd start off a year-long layoff should produce a peak effort today.
Well, I threw in the 5 Rosa Mystica. This one's hoping to save a little more for the stretch drive today. Broke alertly last time up, went and dueled for the lead, finished second at this level and distance. Off that performance, one of the horses, but I think the number 6, Lasting Friendships, is the one to beat for all the reasons we mentioned. Don't forget, this is the first of 2 pick 4s in the afternoon. Now you have to see if you're going to single the number 6, Lasting Friendships, or go a little deep in here. Let's go to race number 3, and we'll go back to the turf course for this race. 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Allowance optional claimer for fillies 2-year-olds. We do have a scratch in here at number 5. It's My Pleasure. I want to go back and show you a performance of a horse that I have in second, Katie has right on top, and that is Tizjet, back on October 11th.
I thought this was a really solid effort, considering the horses that she was running with. She actually duels through the stretch, finishes 3rd, but only to the Todd Pletcher trained duo of Lyra and American Doll, 2 horses that just classed well above the rest of this field. Lyra came on very, very well. American Doll just edges Tizjet in this race. This is an intriguing entrant in this race because she's still a maiden. And she's in this race in an allowance, but she's already stakes placed. She finished 3rd in the My Dear Peggy Stakes 2 starts back. Did not disgrace herself last time out. I think she should sit the trip as well.
I used the one on there. We have our exacta flip-flop, and Queen of all the reasons you mentioned with Tizjet, the maidens, they're really pretty equal. I'm talking about the 1, Queen of Silence, and the 4, Tizjet. This one is cutting back to 7.5 furlongs after returning from that about 3-month freshening to make what looked like to me a winning move before selling for 4th, beaten 2.5 lengths in the aforementioned $75,000 Our Dear Peggy Stakes. Rudolfo Garcia, Edgar Zayas, Tizjet, for all the reasons we just mentioned. You closed it out with the number 8 in here, and that is Melody Croon.
I had the 5, It's My Pleasure.
So did I,
yeah, to be honest. So I scratched into the 8, Melody Croon, but she followed up her maiden-breaking victory, which came in her turf debut, going 1 mile and a 16th, with a very solid 3rd-place effort in a 5-furlong turf allowance. She only finished behind the the Ralph Nix train duo of Can Do, a very classy filly in Washington song. I think she's going to find this distance more to her liking, especially if you look at the pedigree and see that she's out of an AP Indy mare, wants more ground.
You know, I added the 7 China Bella. This one is dropping and turning back. I thought this one's maiden breaker was pretty nice on the turf at this distance. It goes back, stalks the pace, fades. That's in the 1 mile. Another one that was in the R. Dear Peggy Stakes. I think this horse, I'm not thinking it might win, but certainly could be on a ticket. It's going to be a little bit of a square price, 8-1 on the morning line. So just one of the 2 horses. Katie added the 8. I added the 7 after the 2 logicals. At least on paper they look like, and that's the 1 and the number 4. Race 4 this afternoon. 6 furlongs. Claimers 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life. $6,250. And I was looking at the number 3 El Kraken, who we both ended up putting on top of the ticket. Recent maiden winner, but looks like the perfect spot for this one to get 2 in a row.
I couldn't agree more. This one was very impressive in breaking as maiden one by a convincing 2 lengths. That was going 6.5 furlongs here on October 17th. Took the lead at about the half-mile pole and just never looked back. The margin was 2 lengths, but the way he did it I thought was very nice. In this spot, he couldn't have written up a better spot to face winners for the first time, and I think he's the top one in here.
Yeah, number 5, Riley and Jack, we actually have the same try up there, stretching out that additional half furlong today after recovering. A little bit of a slow start last time out to finish a distant second against this level of competition. That was going 5.5 furlongs. Tammy Levy's the trainer. Matthew Rispoli in the saddle. I think this horse with maybe a little sharper break can be there at the wire. But El Kraken, the only problem with El Kraken, as we know, a maiden facing winners for the first time. But as you mentioned, ideal spot for that one. And we both used it too. He did it his way.
Third last time out behind Riley and Jack, who we just talked about. The only concern, 0 for 9 at this distance, 0 for 5 at this track. But he's been consistent at this level. Just threw him in here, but I think the top 2 are probably the ones that you want to go with.
Race number 5 this afternoon. As we mentioned, someone nailed the Rainbow 6. 1 ticket, $75,000 on Sunday. So we're starting anew today. The carryover will be whatever it is today, and you got a chance to take that down. And they usually bet it pretty nicely on the first day that it's available. You wouldn't think so, but they bet it really well. And that is race number 5. It's 1 mile on the turf. Claimants 3 and up. $25,000. Full field of 9 runners. No scratches or jockey changes. Katie, I started it with the number 7 in here. One more cat, and I'll tell you why. This one, who does his best running from off the pace, is facing these $25,000 open claimers after breaking last in that race. It was a field of 12 prior to closing late and finishing 3rd. That was against $25,000 optional claimers at the distance, and I think there's more than enough pace in this race needed to complement his stalking closing style. So I put him on top of the ticket, 5-1 on the morning line.
You're right. There's quite a bit of speed in this spot, and I also took the angle and looking for a horse that would stalk the pace, and I settled on the 6 to Peach Chat. This one is one of 2 George Navarro entrants in this race. Coming in off a 4th place finish at this level of competition, but it was at Saratoga on August 26th. Probably a much tougher spot than he'll face today. Prior to that, he was competing in Allowance Company, has a bit of back class, and he's a 3-time winner at the distance. Again, I think he'll sit the ideal trip behind some of that speed, which also includes his stablemate in this race, Lay That Pistol Down.
Yeah, Lay That Pistol Down. And also another speed that we both put in second is Live Enjoy. Was given some time off after using his speed to win 3 consecutive turf races, going 7.5 furlongs across town at Gulfstream Park. Efren Lozer Jr., apprentice Harry Hernandez going for 4 in a row. This horse is going for 4 victories in a row. Normally, you'd say, well, we got to go with this horse on top, but we're playing the pace card in here and seeing how it goes. You mentioned the one, Lay the Pistol Down, a horse that I did use on my ticket. Now in the George Navarro bond, the gelding makes his first starts in the leading every step of the way to defeat 5 rivals. That was a $25,000 claimer going a mile in the 16th. It was at Arlington on August 15th. The barn has been on fire since they arrived here from up north or out west, wherever they're coming from. They come from all different angles. He's got a lot of different horses, talking about George Navarro. Edgar Zayas in the saddle. So a couple of speed horses. You like the 6 to close. I like the 7 to close.
And you know what? The 2 could close as well. And this one would be closing from well off the pace. That is Scoria from the Jane Sabelli barn. Drops from Allowance Company at Monmouth. The last time he ran in a straight claiming race, he won.
Let's go to race number 6. This kicks off a pick 5 of the afternoon. 7 furlongs, maiden claimer, 2-year-olds, $16,000. Do have a scratch in here of the horse I had in second. Think he's gone, but I did not lose my top pick, and that is the number 4. Don't Make Me Cry.
I had this one on top as well from the get-go, from the Marcus Vitale barn. He actually takes over the training of this Street Cry colt after he made a 4-wide bid to finish second in his career debut. That was going 5.5 furlongs here on October 18th. Vitale, 25% with 2-year-olds off a training switch. And I think that the breeding on this horse suggests that he wants to go longer. I like the stretch out here. Not only is Street Cry known for his routers, but his dam also broke her maiden at a mile.
You know, after Don't Make Me Cry, I sort of didn't know what to do. So I said, let me try a first time starting here. I thought that's the 5, Cheech Dunder, finds a competitive spot, I believe, to start his career for trainer Antonio Sano, the son of Include, who shows 11 workouts at Gulfstream Park. Gets Lasix today and gets Amici El Jaramillo in the saddle for this 7 furlong debut. One of the sneakies in the race, but I can understand having Jalapeno in second, because if you like Don't Make Me Cry, you sort of got to like Jalapeno.
Absolutely. He was third just behind Don't Make Me Cry in what was also his career debut on October 18th. This one, a gelded son of Sweet Return. He made a steady late bid last time out. That suggests he too should get the extra distance. 2 winning siblings in the family.
Well, what about the number 7, Winter Island?
This one from the Chad Stewart barn, who's actually won with 2 of the 3 starters that he shipped down here from his training base in Ocala. Making his second start, gets Lasix for the first time, broke slowly, finished 7th in his debut, but it was against $25,000 maiden claimers. Stewart, 27% with maidens making their second start in maiden claiming races, and he gets a little bit of a drop as well.
Let's go to race number 7. On the turf, we'll be sprinting 5 furlongs. These are claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 races in life. The claiming level is $16,000. Full field of 10 runners in here. Katie, you went with the number 1, who I did not use, and that's Perpetual Novena.
This is a daughter of Majestic Warrior from the Eddie Pleza Jr. barn, turning back today to this 5/8 turf sprinting distance and cutting her tag nearly in half. Last time out, returned from a 2-month layoff, finished 5th going 7.5 furlongs against $30,000 claimers. That was on October 30th here. Gets class relief, second start off a 2-month layoff, turn back, and I think that's going to help her show a little bit more speed as well. She can sit just off it.
I went with the number 8, My Little Darlings, who you have in a third on your ticket, turning back to 5 furlongs after shipping down from Monmouth, opening, then surrendering a 3.5-length lead when finishing second against this level of competition. That was going 7.5 furlongs. Trainer Jane Sibeli, Tyler Gaffleone named to ride. I don't think this horse needs to be on the lead. I think he can carve out a nice stalking trip behind whoever decides to go to the lead in this particular 5 furlong sprint. You know there'll be some of them up there going for the lead. We both used the number 6, Like a Charm.
She's finished second in each of her last 3 races for Oscar Gonzalez, so why not put her second again? She's been very consistent at this position. Last time out, she lacked racing room at the top of the stretch, still ran on to be a very game second. This is the 3rd start of her current form cycle, but she's 0 for 8 at the distance, hasn't broken through with a win yet.
Well, let me tell you about the 5, Angora. This one now in the Ronnie Warner barn. This Mindchef filly has earned a check in back-to-back races against this familiar competition and has the perfect stalking style needed to succeed, certainly on the course that has been favoring just this type of runner. I threw her on the ticket. I believe she's somewhat choice in this. She's about 3rd choice or 4th choice on the board. So another horse they threw in there. I've been watching Ronnie Warner, a couple of horses he's been running, doing a very good job.
Yeah, the barn is definitely heating up, and this one 4th choice on the morning line at 5-1. It's a nice big field, good betting race.
Let's go to race number 8, 6 furlongs, an allowance optional claimer for 3-year-olds and upward. The claiming level is $62,500. Once again, no scratches or jockey changes. Pretty nice race here with a lot of nice horses coming back off layoffs or, coming back to South Florida. And one of those is XY Jet. Let's go back and show you this horse's last January when he ran lights out with Barbados.
This was his breakout performance in the Grade 3 Hutchinson. He and the very classy Barbados separate themselves from this field and completely duel to the wire. Barbados was a heavy, heavy favorite here, and XY Jet went with him almost all the way. Barbados just gets the edge. You could even say XY Jet was a little bit hampered by being down on the inside. Perhaps the tables would have been turned, or it would have been even closer had he been on the outside of Barbados. Then he stumbled at the start. He was eased to finish 6th in the Grade 2 Swale. Did not race again until his most recent start on September 20th. Returned from that long layoff, won an allowance at Monmouth. Now going to come back here. He's the class of the field, making his second start off the layoff, and I'm excited to see him.
Yeah, you know, and I love the fact that just what you mentioned, that he came back off the layoff and he actually won at, you know, his last race. So he's coming into this race, and more importantly, he's 6-1 on the morning line. So XY Jet,
oh my,
6-1 on the morning line. They're both horse that we both used in second. Number 3, Weekend Hideaway, who won the 2015 Sunshine Million Sprint this distance. That also last January. He was turning back to 3/4 of a mile today after getting beat 3/4 of a length in the Hudson Handicap. That was against New York Breds, but this is a pretty nice horse. He came down here, won the Sunshine Million Sprint last year. I think he can run very well.
Absolutely. You know, that last race was against New York Breds, but the winner was Grade 1 winner Palace. That's not just a normal New York bred type of stakes race. This horse certainly held his own. We'll see how he fares in open company, but Palace certainly can hold his own in open company. I think this horse is a great shot.
Well, a horse I did not use, and you did use on your ticket to number 5, who is the morning line favorite, that is One More Night.
This one pulled the upset last time out. He defeated graded stakes winner CZ in an allowance on October 18th. That was in his first start since being claimed out of a race at Saratoga by trainer Marcus Vitale. He's a 6-time winner at the distance. This is his second start off a brief freshening. He's gonna, I would say he would try to pull the upset over another horse coming back in XY Jet, but he's the morning line favorite, so I guess it wouldn't be an upset, but in my mind it would be. I am so surprised to see XY Jet at 6-1. You're not going to get that by the time this race goes off.
And you know, one other horse I want to mention is the 2 Goombay Dance, who's running for the $62,500 tag in this optional claimer after his 3-race win streak ended when he failed to fire. That was an $80,000 optional claimer at Belmont Park last time out. Paco Lopez, who won twice with this horse in the past on the son of Dixie Union, is getting back aboard, and I just thought this horse, you know, could bounce back and certainly be on the ticket. He's actually second choice on the morning line.
And Paco Lopez has been riding very, very well, off to a great start since he's come down here, as has trainer Bobby DeBona. They've both been doing very, very well.
I like saying that name. Race number 9 this afternoon. 5 furlongs on the turf. Claimers, fillies and mares, 3 and up. Non-winners of 3 races in life or 3-year-olds, $8,000. One scratch in here. It's the main track only participant. Number 10, Gracious Humor. Want to go back and show you a race from Sikar just a little while ago on October 23rd.
2 horses in this race coming back today. I want you to first take a look at the one Wove. This one had to steady at the 3/8 pole. This is a filly that does her best running up on the lead, had to steady, lose some momentum. Now take a look at Sakar, who capitalizes on all the speed in this race and again rallies to get out for a win. This is the second time she's won during this meet, and she did it in nearly identical fashion, just rallying at the end, grinding out a nice victory. I think she can do it yet again today. Her stalking style perfectly suits this turf course. She's facing many of the same horses that she's already beaten, seeking her 3rd straight victory.
Yeah, it was a nice ride by Carlos Olivero last time out. Love horses when they split horses and come on like that. The horse I put in second, and so did Katie Morgan Falls, was solid in defeat last time out. When she dueled for the lead throughout and finished 3rd, she was beaten a length in that race by Sakar last time out. Kathy Ritvo, Luca Panici in the saddle today.
Yeah, this one, another speed filly, and she's going to have company on the front end again. She's done well since the class drop. She can build off that. But again, her style is not as well suited to this turf course as she might be over across town.
You also Wove on your ticket to number 2.
Right. I think she can improve upon her last trip and maybe improve upon her position. But again, another with speed. I think the race just sets up so well for Sakar yet again.
Number 1, Trumpet's Eminence, split Sakar and Morgan's Falls last time out. breaks from the rail, and a chance to parlay that inside trip into a victory over this very, very familiar competition. It's almost a replay of that last race. We'll see who gets the trip. You know, as Alan Jerkins said about turf racing, the great Alan Jerkins, 5 horses could have won, but only one got the trip. So he's absolutely right. In turf racing, you got to get lucky besides having the right horse. Last race, let's keep it on the turf. 5 furlongs, fillies, mares, 3 and up, non-winners of 2 life, $8,000 scratch the number 5 Rose Festival. This, to me, was a total head scratcher. You went with the number 3 in here, and I want to hear why.
I just think this one, Redegia, is dropping to a much more appropriate level today. She tried $16,000 claiming competition off her maiden breaking score against $12,500 maiden claimers on October 24th, and she finished 8th. I just think it was too difficult of a spot to face winners for the first time based on her maiden win, because prior to that last effort, her maiden win was impressive. She was a much the best 3 3/4 length winner, proven over this turf course. I think she can rebound in this particular spot.
Loving that 12-1. I think I pick this horse every week, it seems like, at least. Number 9, You Feel This Cornelius, has been knocking on the door in consecutive races at this 2 lifetime level, and should be able once again to secure a nice stalking trip off the speed that breaks to its inside. Bill Therinos is the trainer, and he's got apprentice Aaron Court, 7-pound apprentice. Aaron Court, if the name sounds familiar, this is John Court's son. So good luck to him today with number 9, Feel This Cornelius. Who else did you use?
I used the 6 Whisper on the Street. This one turning back to a turf sprint for trainer Gustavo Delgado for the first time in 4 starts since August. I think this is the right combination of class level and distance for this horse, because she actually broke her maiden at this distance over. You Feel This Cornelius hasn't performed nearly as well in her 4 ensuing starts against winners, but she's been running in some tougher races and at a lot of different distances.
Well, a stranger to this group, or a new arrivee here, is the number 8 Durant, now in the Ron Gaffney barn. This is the daughter of Stevie Wonderboy, makes her local bow after a pair of really solid outings against similar. That was sprinting up New Jersey at the Meadowlands on their turf course. So a horse that we don't know how this horse, that form will translate to here and there. Some horse you might want to use. Don't forget, we have the rolling super high fives throughout the afternoon, and they are tough to hit in these big fields, but they pay awful nice if you can do it.
Oh, they sure do. And if we get a carryover going into this last race, they bet the rolling super high 5 like nobody's business. It's fantastic, a lot of fun. And for some reason, comes the end of the day, they almost always hit this thing. So it's a lot of fun. And why not take a fresh face coming into this race, especially when so many of these horses know each other so well. A new one can come in and just show them all how it's done.
And once again, from Katie and I, well, happy Veterans Day today, and everybody out here. And don't forget to visit the Veterans booth here up in by the grandstand and see what they have to offer today.
Yeah, but surely wisdom, and just at least if you don't have a lot of time to talk, go over and thank them for their service, because they deserve the thanks. They're wonderful. A wonderful group of people in our society. So have a very happy Veterans Day to all of you out there involved in the military in some way.